Hello and welcome to the B-Buds Bureau of Tourism. This is Europa. First things first, once you've taken care of the enemies outside the entrance, and after a short sparrow jaunt, you're going to find yourself in a vast, freezing wasteland. Your goal is to go from shelter to shelter, clearing out the poor fallen who live there, and who also shoot huge annoying rockets inside their glass houses. Considering how all the shelters look the same, it might come down to trial and error as far as reaching one. Or just look up a map. I didn't want to steal or make one. I'm a bit lazy. After you've cleared this cold hell, you'll take a trip up to the entrance of the deep stone crypt. Once inside, you'll be greeted by vault security, but luckily, no Pip-Boys are required, just some good old-fashioned guns. Before we start talking about the encounter proper, let's talk loadouts. Ideally, you'll be rocking a Xenophage or a Fourth Horseman, as these two deal high damage in short periods of time. Everyone will definitely want to run something that can deal with Overload champions, because Overload champions will periodically spawn in on both sides, and they're already a pain to deal with, so just end them as quickly as you can. And the third weapon can be whatever you want, honestly, but clearing the room of enemies is probably your priority here. Classes and subclasses don't matter here. Follow your dreams. The room is split up into two halves, the light side and the dark side. The general rule of thumb for this encounter is to consider the side furthest from the entrance to be the back of the room. Obviously you'll have to split up, but the question becomes how? We'll get to that later. The most important thing to remember through this whole raid, besides the obvious rule number 1, never be dying, are the augments. Yoshi, what are augments? I'm glad you asked, Susie, since they're the raid mechanics. Augments are certain buffs you'll see throughout the raid that allow the user to do a very specific task that is important for rule number 1, never be dying. The two augments we will focus on in the first encounter are the Operator and the Scanner. The Operator augment looks like this and is always red, so if you need to remember it by color or looks alone, be sure to remember this. What the Operator allows a Guardian to do is shoot these panels, and I mean any of these panels, like this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, you get the point. The Scanner, on the other hand, is probably the most varied augment in this whole raid. It lets you see interactable or important objects throughout the raid. It's kinda like being Neo, seeing the code in the Matrix. Whoa. For this first encounter, let's talk about what's happening. We've just found the Deepstone Crypt, and no one wants us to be here. Not the Elixni, and definitely not Crypt security. Our job is to unlock Crypt security, and very much like every Star Wars movie ever, we're not going to unlock it, we're just going to shoot it. A lot. To unlock the, well, lock, we're sending the Operator into the dungeon. The Operator's job is to shoot 2 keypads on each side of the basement, a dark side and a light side. Just like up top. For the purposes of this guide, we will label the keypads numerically from the back of the room as dark side 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and light side 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The only trouble is that the Operator can't see which keypads to shoot, which is where the Scanner comes in. When the encounter starts, the Vandal with the Scanner augment spawns, and he will drop it once the inevitable hail of bullets riddles his poor little yellow bar body. It's a good thing Clovis Bray built anti-slacker glass floor panels so you can see into the basement, because whoever takes the role of Scanner will pick up the augment, then look through the floor to identify the keypads. On the dark side, looking at this pillar will give you keypad 1. This next pillar will let you see keypad 2. This one over here will let you see keypad 3. And this last pillar will let you see both keypads 4 and 5. On the light side, looking at this pillar will let you see keypad 1. This pillar will let you see keypad 2. This one over here will let you see keypad 3. And this last pillar will let you see both keypads 4 and 5. As for roles, you'll want 2 people as Operators and 1 Scanner. It's probably best to have a dedicated Operator down in the basement and someone to grab the Operator augment up top when needed. What's everyone else doing? Shooting things. Just shoot things. That's all you're good for, so you'd best do it well. The extermination team will split up with one of the career exterminators going to the light side, and 2 will eliminate Fallen on the dark side. Do it. Since the scanner spawns on the dark side, the scanner should probably start there, because once the operator picks up the augment from the terminal, the encounter is started, the door shuts, and the fun begins. Once the operator picks up the augment and starts the encounter, they will shoot the keypad found at the back of the room and enter the basement by continuing to shoot additional keypads to get through a series of locked doors. By this time, the scanner should have picked up the scanner augment and checked the keypads on the dark side using the floor panels, calling out which keypads to shoot to the operator. Now the operator will have to place their augment in the terminal so that the secondary operator will be able to open the doors in the back so that the scanner can move from the dark side to the light side. Keep in mind that whenever an augment is placed in the terminal, it can be found on every terminal, but that means no one else can place an augment down. The secondary operator then places the augment back in the terminal, so the basement dweller can pick it back up, and the scanner operator duo gets back to it. Once 4 correct locks are shot, the blast door opens, and now you may damage the boss. 6 big anger batteries. The trick is, you have to shoot the batteries in a specific order, and the basement dweller is the only person who can know which ones to damage. To do that, they need the scanner augment. To send down the augment, they will have to send the operator augment up. The secondary operator should pick it up, then the scanner will send down their augment. Identifying the order is pretty simple. The corresponding battery down below will be highlighted a pixely yellow, much like the keypads, and the operator will call out which to shoot. Looking at the linked batteries both above and below, it's probably easiest just to say light left, light mid, and light right, and dark left, dark mid, and dark right. Keeping the team evenly split should ensure enough damage to finish this off in 2 phases. It's a raid, so you know the drill. Repeat that whole last phase if necessary, but also the secondary operator should let the primary operator hop up for some air between phases, or the basement will try to cook them like a Thanksgiving turkey. Swap whatever augments you need to in the meantime before sending the operator back down. I don't know, or swap with the secondary operator. What do I care, am I your mother? In the meantime, the extermination team needs to make sure that any servitors are dead, because servitors prevent the terminals from functioning. Now, here's the quick rundown, and I'll include text if you just want to pause it. Grab augments. Scanner identifies 2 highlighted keypads on dark side. Operator shoots. Operator sends augment. Scanner moves to light side, identifies 2 highlighted keypads on light side. Operator gets augment back and shoots. Operator sends augment, receives scanner. Identifies batteries to shoot, shoot batteries. Extermination team makes sure everything is dead or nothing goes smoothly. Now that you've shot the lock, you get to see just what Clovis Bray was working with, and oh my god, is this Neon Genesis Evangelion? Get in the goddamn robot, Elsie. Anyway, it's definitely alive and moving, and we don't care. Let's just move on, and oh my god, who let Taniks back?
Why won't you die?
And now we meet Atraks-1, the first Elixni Exo, whom we will celebrate by beating her up so many times and throwing her into space. Before we get into this encounter, let's talk about what we want to be running as far as loadout is concerned. Grab the Lament. No, seriously, if you've played Beyond Light at all, you should have access to the quest to get this exotic sword, and hoo boy, it does not disappoint. Our boy CB really said, I'm gonna make a chainsaw jet sword, except it runs on spite instead of fuel. This thing destroys enemies, and you're just gonna want it in general. If you somehow don't have that sword, pause this video and go get it, my god. Running any other sword will probably do just as nicely, but ideally it's a Falling Guillotine with Whirlwind Blade. Aside from that, you honestly could run whatever you want. Warlocks running Well of Radiance, as well as Hunters running Top Tree Tether will be helpful to boost damage to the boss. The roles are the same as the last encounter. There's an operator and a scanner. We'll get back to where the augments spawn when we talk about the encounter. Now we have 2 distinct teams, which we will call the ground team and the space team. That's right, we're going to space, baby! The ground team will be responsible for clearing out enemies on the floor everyone starts on, which is split up between the red room, yellow room, and middle. Atraks-1 can be found in the red room, middle, as well as Yellow Room Lower and Yellow Room Upper. Terminals for depositing augments can be found on the upper level in Red Room, down under the walkway in Middle, and on the ground level in Yellow. Space Team will head up to space once these pods in the center are available to use, and clear out enemies in the orbital space station you now find yourselves in. The space room will be split up between left, right, and middle. Atraks-1 will be found on the left on the balcony, on right on the balcony, and in the middle, front or back relative to how you leave the pods. Terminals can be found on left and right, but the easiest one to use and spot will be located just below the drop-off in front of the pods. Also something to note are these interactable doors found in space on the left upper, left lower, right upper, and right lower. The operator will shoot these to open them, and we'll discuss what exactly that's all about in the encounter details. I will be dividing up the encounter based on the teams, so keep in mind that if you're only listening to one of the teams, a large portion of what I'm explaining for each team is happening at the same time as the other team. Of course, it's probably helpful to listen to both just to know what's going on. Got it? Let's go. Space Team will be 3 people, and will initially include both the designated operator and the scanner. Kill enemies. Once the space pods spawn, the 2 members can choose to go up to start killing enemies in space, or stay to help ground team. Once the operator augment spawns, which could be randomly between red, yellow, and middle, grab it from the Vandal's still warm corpse. At this point you're going to go to space if you haven't already. The operator should immediately turn around and shoot the keypads of the space pods, sending them back down for ground team to use. Kill enemies, servitors will spawn. In the meantime, you'll want to grab Scanner, which will also spawn randomly, so keep an eye out and kill that Vandal quickly. At this point you're going to want to kill the servitors, since the ground servitors should already be dead. Scanner will be able to spot Atraks-1 because she'll have that yellow pixel highlight, just like in the first encounter. At this point, you're going to kill Atraks-1, but remember that you have more time than you think, so try and wait for everyone to group up so you can hit her at the same time. For the Lament, I find what works best is revving up, and then doing 3 light attacks followed up with a heavy attack. Whoever has Scanner should send it back down to the ground team using the terminals as soon as possible. Now, once Atraks-1 is dead, someone in the group, hopefully not the operator, will pick up Atraks-1's attempt to spawn, which will be noted by the Atraks-1 replication debuff on the left of your screen, complete with a timer. Or, more obviously to everyone else, this purple thing. The operator can shoot this off to reset the timer, but you have to pick it back up, and a lot like Flubber, it's bouncy as hell. Go Flubber! You're gonna vent the Atraks-1 replication using one of the doors we mentioned earlier. They'll be pretty obvious based on the keypad. The operator is going to open the door, the Guardian with the replication debuff is going to walk into the room, and the operator will shoot off Atraks-1. Anyone in the room should leave, and the room should close on its own and vent that Atraks-1 copy into space. Keep in mind, you can only use each door once per phase. At this point, you're going to grab the scanner from the terminal the ground team should have sent back up, you're going to find Atraks-1 again, you're going to kill Atraks-1 again, and you're going to send that scanner back to ground team. At this point, the Guardian from ground team who picked up Atraks-1's replication should have arrived, so corral the 2 Guardians with the replication debuff to a door you can open. You know, like cattle. Don't forget to vent those Atraks-1 replications, grab the scanner, and if necessary, repeat all of those steps from the kill servitor phase. Now we're going to move on to ground team. Over on ground team, we're going to kill enemies until servitors spawn, kill those servitors, and then survive. Probably doing nothing, thinking about the inevitability of death. Oh wait, scanner's up. Designate someone as scanner, and grab the scanner augment from one of the terminals once Space Team calls out they've deposited it. Find Atraks-1, which will be obvious from the yellow pixelated highlight. Kill Atraks-1, timing it down so everyone hits her at the same time. As stated before, the Lament is your best bet, and just to reiterate, you should have enough time for everyone to group up and time it down. Rev your Lament, do 3 light attacks, then use a heavy attack. You're going to send that scanner up using the terminal. Now killing Atraks-1 will saddle someone with an Atraks-1 replication debuff, which you'll know you have by looking at the left of your screen. If no one has it, grab it before it kills you all. The Guardian with the replication debuff will go to space in one of the pods and meet up with Space Team to vent Atraks-1. Let them know by saying something snappy like, "Shoot me, please don't let me die," or "I'm about to be consumed by Atraks-1 the Possessor," or just "Shoot me." Everyone else will just hunker down and tell stories about the campfire. You know, maybe reminisce about the time you shot some huge batteries and scanners back up. You're gonna grab that scanner, you're gonna find Atraks-1 again, you're gonna kill Atraks-1 again, then you're gonna send the scanner right back up. If necessary, repeat from the kill servitors step. Now, this whole thing can be one phase with a lament, but repeat is necessary. Once Atraks-1 is at 1/8 health, everyone needs to go up to space, no matter what you're doing. Whoever has the scanner finds Atraks-1 amid the massive Atraks-1 copies. Callouts on this part can be confusing, but sometimes she just stands so close to herself that you're probably just gonna have to play follow the leader. At this point, everyone attacks Atraks-1, hopefully counting down, and with laments, she should, be super dead. If not, continue to find the next Atraks-1 until she is dead. Once you've left the Atraks-1 encounter, you're going to find one of the most beautiful set pieces seen in Destiny. Then you're also going to get jumped by a million shanks. Once you've made your way across the spacewalk, which you can get a general idea of by slowing this video down, you'll find yourself face to face with Taniks, who has decided that one of the first things he's going to do with his refound life is nuke Europa. As you do. Now welcome to the core room. Loadout honestly doesn't matter as long as you're keeping in mind rule number 1, never be dying. Also, overload rounds. No limitations on subclasses here, just some good old-fashioned rule number 1. Main thing for this encounter is that there are 4 safety boxes to deposit cores. We're going to label these L1, L2, R1, and R2. This encounter comes in 6 phases, signaled by a big chime, this sound. Let's talk about cores. They will kill you. If any of them count down to 0, you die. If you put them in the wrong box, you die. If you hold on to them for too long, you pick up enough radiation to make Chernobyl blush. And you die. Augment terminals can be found on the left, in the middle, and on the right. Augment spawns are kind of random, so just be sure to call out where for whoever needs to pick it up. For this encounter, we're going to split up into 3 teams of 2. The scanners are going to look for 2 highlighted boxes in the middle and call them out. Pretty simple. The operator's job is to shoot keypads to spawn nuclear cores. Now, keypads can be found just next to each core spawn location. If you take too long, 3 cores will spawn. But if you shoot too soon, the suppressor might not have done their job in time. Speaking of, whoever has suppressor is going to deal with these orbs on the left, in the middle, and on the right. They're going to stand under each orb and shoot Taniks a little bit. Any amount of damage is enough to proc the orb. On the 3rd orb, Taniks will be suppressed, and now cores can be dunked in boxes. Once Taniks is suppressed, 1 random augment will be deactivated. The deactivated team needs to go to terminals and swap. As I mentioned before, it doesn't matter which terminal. Augments appear on all of them. Everyone except the suppressor should be on slam dunk duty. Make sure to spread out around the room when you're picking up cores so they don't kill you. Like we talked about earlier. After 6 phases of this, a big door will open in the ground towards the middle of the room. I sure hope you've put your tray tables up and your seat in the upright position, because we're about to crash. And now it's time to fight Taniks 4, Electric Boogalore. Ideal loadouts for exotics include Anarchy, Cloud Strike, Xenophage, and Whisper if you're very confident. You'll want one person in the fire team running Divinity for an easy crit spot just below Taniks' shank. For non-exotic options, you'll want a sniper rifle or a precision frame shotgun so you can get that precision damage. Ideally, your sniper rifle will have triple tap, and your shotgun will have something to make reloading it faster, and both weapons would be ideal with Vorpal Weapon. In any case, slap a boss spec on those bad folks and wail on that poor big boy. To maximize damage, Titans will want to run Ward of Dawn, Warlocks will want to run Well of Radiance, and Hunters will want a bottom tree golden gun with Celestial Nighthawk if you can manage it. There are 4 parts to the arena: blue, yellow, spawn, and the big old dance floor in the arena. Or just mid. The safety boxes are back, and in greater numbers. To keep things easy, we're going to label them clockwise as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you want to swap roles, that's fine, but I recommend you stick with the same teams as the previous encounter. Operator team will stay at spawn, Scanner team will go to blue, Suppressor team will go to yellow. Once you start the encounter, Taniks the Abomination will stick to the middle and shoot things around the arena. Ignore his deadly tantrum for the most part and focus on killing enemies in the different areas. After killing the captain in each respective area, the augment will spawn, but Taniks the Abomination, who I will just now refer to as Taniks, won't wait for you to grab anything, so be quick. The scanner should call out the highlighted boxes while Taniks moves to either yellow, blue, or spawn. He will then throw an actually life-threatening tantrum in which you will need to avoid purple orbital strikes while also shooting at least 2 of his thrusters. I recommend shooting his back thrusters first, but again, I'm not your mom, live your own life. Disabling each thruster will drop a core, and it is the job of everyone who isn't the active operator or suppressor to move the core to its appropriate box. While moving cores, Taniks will surround guardians in a purple web that only the operator can shoot. This will happen in 2 waves. This is important because the suppressor's job is the same as last encounter. Shoot Taniks while you're under the orbs. However, just like the last encounter, suppressing Taniks will deactivate an augment, and if the operator is deactivated, you're kind of just out of luck, and 2 people will die. I hope you're happy with yourself. So wait until the second wave of purple webs has been shot, then suppress Taniks. Once the deactivated augment has been swapped, you will do that again for the other 2 thrusters. Now it is possible to do all 4 cores at once, but we're not going to go over that. Once all 4 cores have been deposited, Taniks will sit in his little ballroom in the middle and chill for a little bit before creating a big lightning storm with 2 very important circles to keep an eye out for. The outer circle has swirling debris that will launch you back to space if you're not careful, but you can't damage the boss if you're outside. The inner circle shows where Taniks will zap you to hell if you stay too long, so you want to be in that sweet spot just between the 2 circles to damage him and not die. This is where the Well of Radiance comes in handy. And now you shoot the boss with whatever you've got. You'll likely have to repeat the whole core phase again, so it's business as usual. Once Taniks gets to about 1/8 of his health, you'll be able to damage him wherever, except now he hops around the map, so make sure you're avoiding his final orbital strikes and continue hitting him with everything you've got. And now we're back to the quick recap. 3 areas to remember: blue, yellow, spawn. Split up into 3 teams: operator at spawn, scanner at blue, suppressor at yellow. Kill enemies, pick up augments, ID boxes, shoot thrusters, pick up cores, shoot webs, suppress Taniks, dunk cores, repeat cores, shoot boss, repeat until boss is at 1/8, dunk boss. And there you have it. Celebrate by looking at all the destruction you've caused. And curse God for not being able to bully Clovis Bray, because we all know he deserves it. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this guide. I mean, Destiny's all I play these days, so if you'd like more, please let me know in the comments below. And if you want to keep updated on B-Bud's videos in the future, be sure to subscribe, tap that notification bell. And I'll see you around. Until next time, bye!